This is a short lecture on reflective writing. Reflective writing is something that you do as you look back on your experiences and you think about who you are as a person and how that informs the work that you do in your writing and the work that you show in your portfolio. One thing that's very important is that when you do your reflection, your reader needs direction in understanding the pieces of work that you've done. Your reflection can give this understanding. Your reflection helps your reader understand what was going on in your mind, what you brought to this, and how the reader can begin to make meaning out of the things that you have written. So there's two kinds of reflection that you'll have in your portfolio. One will be for individual pieces of work. For each individual piece of work, you want to talk about what you did in the past to create that work, to evaluate how you feel it came out now, and then to look ahead at how you might use those skills in another context. When you're looking back, you want to talk about the processes that you used to create the project. How did you get your ideas? How did you create the outlines? Where did you go to look for information? And who did you ask for help when you needed help? How was that help important in the creation of the product that you actually came up with? The next thing to think about is to evaluate how it came out. What does it look like right now? Did the project come out the way that you intended it to? Did it change in the process of your creating it? What part do you find is most successful in your writing? What do you really like about it? What was really strong? And what part might be able to use some more work? Tell your reader about some of the parts that you might do differently the next time you did something like this. And then finally, the next part of your reflection for an individual piece of work is looking ahead. What would you do differently next time? What kind of skills from this project could you use in another course or in your career? What did you learn that was new and interesting in this that you might use at in another incarnation of this project? Another kind of reflection that you have in your portfolio is not just the reflection for the individual pieces of work, but it's the reflection on your work as a whole, as it is presented in your portfolio. So here's where you put all your work together, and you want to explain the goal of the portfolio. You want to help your reader understand how you would like the reader to work through your work. Do you want them to look at it in chronological order, in the order of your menu? Or do you want them just to explore on what looks interesting? You might want to explain how different pieces appeal to different audiences, your professional audiences and popular audiences. It would be helpful if you explained how the learning outcomes of the course are demonstrated in the portfolio. This could be important to your professor. You might also want to explain how the pieces relate to each other. If you have two different audiences with the same kind of content, that would be interesting to tell your reader about that. Finally, it's important to consider where your reflection fits into your portfolio. Where will you put these? Because the organization of how you help people understand your portfolio is very important. For the individual reflections, you might want to put a little paragraph of looking back, evaluating now, and looking forwards before links to project files, if they're PDFs or if they are JPEGs. There's room for you could put in the link and then the paragraph of reflection. You could also put it on a parent or child page. So if the major project is a video, you could have a child page, a sub-page, a drop-down menu that would take you to the reflection about that. You could also have a separate reflection page, a page called Reflections, and you could organize it by project. One way that you can deal with overall reflection is you could have it on the opening page so that it welcomes your reader. Or you could put it on a clearly labeled separate page where it says overall reflection, some way that guides your audience to understanding what's going to be on this page and how it will help them understand your portfolio. So reflection helps your reader understand your intent as a writer and your experience as a writer. And by providing that information, you help your reader make meaning out of the portfolio that you've provided for them.